He who feels deeply bleeds silently. What if I told you that the coldest men you'll ever meet were once the most emotionally available? That before the silence, there was depth. Before the detachment, there was effort. Ascenders, today we're not here to entertain the surface-level internet noise about Alpha versus Sigma. This is something rawer, realer, and far more personal. We're diving into the slow transformation, often unnoticed but deeply felt, that turns a Sigma male from a deep thinker into someone emotionally withdrawn, cold, and nearly untouchable. But let's make something clear. Coldness in this context isn't weakness. It's not bitterness. It's not revenge. It's survival. These points aren't cliches. They're truths forged in silence, shaped by betrayal and polished by isolation. So if you've ever felt like you were slowly unplugging from the world around you, piece by piece, you're not broken. You're becoming dangerously clear. Before we go in, subscribe to Sigma Ascends, because this channel isn't here for the masses. It's here for the few who are done playing surface-level games. Welcome, Ascenders. 1. The echo chamber of betrayal. The Sigma male doesn't enter life cold, quite the opposite. He often starts life with a deep emotional bandwidth, always reading people, caring more than he shows, and absorbing the energy around him. But here's the thing, this emotional sensitivity, it becomes a liability. Betrayal doesn't hit a Sigma all at once. It echoes. It echoes through time, memory, and reflection. One friend lies, another exposes a secret. A partner turns distant after they got what they wanted. Family members guilt him into silence. None of these betrayals are massive in isolation, but together they create a pattern, a blueprint. This isn't just pain, it's data. The Sigma processes betrayal like code, not just emotionally, but analytically. And over time he starts connecting dots most people never see. He begins to notice the smiles that hide manipulation, the words that mask intentions. Eventually, something clicks. Vulnerability is currency, and the world has been cashing in on him for too long. That's when he starts collecting himself, quietly, emotionally. He becomes more observant and less expressive, more inward, less reactive. It's not bitterness that makes him cold. It's the exhaustion of unreciprocated emotional investment. Betrayal doesn't make him hate others. It makes him respect his own boundaries. And so begins the shift, from warmth to caution, from empathy to calculation. He stops asking, "Why did they do this to me?" and starts asking, "Why did I let them?" 2. Hyper-awareness becomes emotional apathy. At first, hyper-awareness is a gift. The Sigma male sees patterns. He notices the micro-signals, reads between the lines, and often knows what people want before they even say it. It's a kind of social X-ray vision, powerful but taxing. This awareness leads to early emotional insight, but as it develops, it reveals a darker truth. People are often predictable. Their kindness has conditions. Their loyalty is temporary. Their honesty is selective. Over time, the Sigma sees these patterns repeat, not just once, but dozens of times. And that's where apathy begins, not out of arrogance, but fatigue. When you see how the story ends every time, it becomes hard to emotionally invest in the beginning. The Sigma stops reacting, not because he doesn't feel, but because he's seen it all before. Reactions feel pointless when the outcome is already known. This creates a deep emotional plateau. He doesn't get excited about new people. Compliments don't hit. Drama doesn't spark. What others call emotionless is actually emotional efficiency. He's not numb. He's calibrated. He won't waste energy on people who show early signs of chaos. He doesn't correct liars. He just lets them dig their holes. He doesn't chase. He doesn't explain. And the world misreads this as coldness. But it's clarity, and clarity costs connection. 3. The burnout of carrying others' weight. Sigma males are quiet providers. They support without showing off. They help without announcing it. And most of the time, people don't even realize how much they lean on him until he disappears. That's the core of this point. The Sigma's strength is used, but rarely recognized. And over time, he notices. He's the one people call when things fall apart. The listener, the fixer, the one who keeps his own storms silent to make room for others. But when he breaks, the room goes quiet. No one checks in, no one shows up. This is where the resentment begins, not loud but deep. The Sigma starts to realize that support isn't mutual, it's expected, and so he starts pulling back, not out of selfishness, but preservation. He understands that constantly pouring from his cup leaves him empty. Over time, his default mode shifts. Instead of saying yes, he pauses. Instead of solving problems, he observes who takes accountability. He becomes intentional with his time, with his energy, with his presence. People start calling him distant, cold. But the truth? He just got tired of being everyone's emotional mule. Now he asks, would they do the same for me? If the answer is no, he's already gone. 4. Silence as a survival code. Early in life, the Sigma learns that sharing emotions can backfire. Vulnerability is used against him. Openness is misunderstood. People say, you can talk to me, but when he does, they either judge, minimize, or shift the focus back to themselves. So he adapts. Silence becomes his strategy. He stops explaining, stops updating, stops offering emotional transparency. It's not about hiding, it's about protecting. His silence isn't empty, it's intentional. Over time, he learns how much control silence gives him. In arguments, he says nothing. In chaos, he observes. When provoked, he keeps still. This drives people insane, but that's the point. Silence makes people uncomfortable, and that's where the Sigma finds power. He's not interested in attention. He's interested in clarity. And when people realize he won't play emotional ping-pong, they lose interest. And that's perfect, because the people who can't handle his silence were never meant for his depth. 5. Loyalty taxed. Beyond the limit, Sigma males are loyal, to a fault. Not because they need others, but because once they let someone in, they commit deeply, quietly, fully. But loyalty isn't always respected, and for the Sigma, repeated disloyalty from others becomes a serious trigger. He gives people chances more than they deserve. He forgives, not because he's weak, but because he believes in the long game. But when people keep showing that their loyalty is tied to convenience, he starts shutting doors, and when a Sigma closes a door, it stays closed. His loyalty isn't loud. It's not about grand gestures. It's in the quiet ways he supports others, the way he listens, the way he remembers, the way he shows up even when he's tired. So when that loyalty is taken for granted, or worse, betrayed, it hardens him, and not temporarily. He learns to vet people ruthlessly. He stops using titles like friend or partner loosely. Access becomes a privilege, not a right. And from the outside, it looks cold, harsh, unforgiving, but from the inside, it's necessary. 6. Fixer fatigue syndrome. One of the most misunderstood traits of Sigma males is their default role as fixers. They don't choose this role, it chooses them. People sense stability in them, a grounded energy, and so, whether it's emotional baggage, practical problems, or psychological drama, others naturally lean on the Sigma. At first, he carries it, proudly, silently. It's not about glory or praise, it's about being useful, needed. But the issue with being a fixer is that nobody ever fixes him. The more people dump on him, the more he absorbs. Until one day, something inside burns out. It's not an explosion, it's a quiet collapse. He starts withdrawing, not because he doesn't care, but because he can't. The Sigma learns that trying to fix everyone often means breaking yourself. It's a lesson written in stress, anxiety, and emotional depletion. He realizes that people rarely want real solutions. They want attention, drama, sympathy, not growth. And the Sigma male, who values progress, finds this exhausting, so he changes his internal rulebook. If you're not working on it, I'm not helping with it. He stops rescuing people from their own loops. He lets others fall, struggle, face their consequences, because he finally understands that fixing is not always helping, and from that moment, his presence becomes rare, selective, premium, 7, inner world greater than outer world. One of the most profound shifts in a Sigma male's journey is when he decides to prioritize his inner world over the external one. After too many disappointments, socially, romantically, even professionally, he starts to retreat inward, not out of fear, but out of design. His solitude becomes sacred, his routines almost ritualistic. He dives deep into books, strategies, long walks, late-night thinking. He explores silence like others explore nightclubs. He doesn't escape reality, he builds one. The outer world, full of clout-chasing, hollow validation and fake intimacy, loses its grip on him. His phone rings less, social events feel dull, parties feel shallow. Meanwhile, the Sigma is building empires in his mind. People call him anti-social, but he's just busy cultivating self-reliance. The beauty of this internal pivot is that it makes him less reactive, less impulsive, less needy. His validation is internal, his peace is self-created, and most importantly, his attention becomes priceless. He no longer tries to belong in broken systems. He doesn't chase circles that don't align with his values. He doesn't explain why he's not available. He just isn't. And this inner world, it becomes his kingdom. 8. The ghost phase. When a Sigma male enters his ghost phase, there's no announcement, no drama, no explanation. He just fades. Group chats, left unread. Calls, ignored. Invites, politely declined, or not answered at all. This isn't depression, it's not bitterness, it's detachment with intention. The Sigma understands that overstimulation, surface-level connection and noise are draining his mental bandwidth. He doesn't hate people, he's just full. He retreats, not to disappear forever, but to reset, to think, recalibrate, cleanse the chaos. People don't notice at first, but when they finally do, it's too late. He's gone. Not physically, but emotionally, spiritually. And once he's gone, returning isn't guaranteed. In this phase, the Sigma cleans his circle. He evaluates who adds value, who drains energy, who's real and who's convenient. And here's the twist. Once he ghosts, even if he returns, it's never the same. The emotional bond is cut. The loyalty reset. People say he changed. The truth? He just stopped pretending. 9. The ROI mindset, return on investment. It's not just about money, it's about energy, time, emotion. The Sigma male develops an ROI mindset, not out of cold calculation, but hard-earned wisdom. Every interaction, every relationship, every commitment becomes a question. What does this cost me, and what does it return? He's not being transactional, he's being strategic, because he's learned the truth. People who give nothing often expect everything. So he starts tracking the subtle debts, conversations that go nowhere, relationships where he gives and gives, favors that turn into expectations. And when the balance tilts too far, he doesn't argue, he doesn't complain, he disengages. This mindset scares people. It makes them feel judged. But the Sigma isn't judging them, he's managing himself. Not every connection is worth keeping. Not every person deserves access. So he trims, efficiently, quietly, and when people ask why he's not around anymore, he just says, "I was overpaying." 10. Emotion becomes strategy. The Sigma male doesn't stop feeling, he just stops wasting emotion. He still loves, still hurts, still hopes. But none of it is on display. Why? Because he's learned that showing emotion in the wrong context is like bleeding in shark-infested waters. So he recalibrates. He doesn't act out, he calculates in. Instead of reacting to chaos, he studies it. Instead of yelling, he plans. Instead of proving himself, he observes who tries to provoke him. He uses emotion not as fuel for reaction, but as data for decision-making. Joy, tracked; pain, analyzed; disrespect, catalogued. Everything becomes part of the map. He doesn't shut down, he just reroutes. The fire is still there. He just moved it to the engine room. From the outside it looks like coldness, but from the inside it's clarity in motion, power, not paralysis. Emotion used to be a storm. Now it's a compass, so ascenders. If you made it this far, you already know. This transformation isn't dramatic. It's quiet, silent, gradual, but it's real. The Sigma male doesn't wake up cold. He becomes cold one emotional withdrawal at a time. Call it evolution, call it defense, call it whatever you want. But if you're walking that same path, don't let anyone shame your silence, your distance, or your clarity. You're not emotionally broken. You're just emotionally done with nonsense. Subscribe to Sigma Ascends. Until next time, stay observant, stay intentional, and as always, keep rising.